Hello everybody, my name is Ana Rezende, and in this podcast, I will share my transformational journey to become a health coach. In each episode, I will address a different subject that impacts our health, whether physically, mentally, emotionally, or spiritually. Because I've learned that being healthy means being in balance. If you would like to make amazing discoveries, improve your health, get inspired, and yet find sustainable ways to live and help the planet, tune in. You are in the right place. I'm your host, Ana Rezende, and good is what makes you feel well is Mama Terra's podcast.
Toma banho de cachoeira, abraça uma pessoa amiga, corre na chuva, escala a montanha, contempla a vista, transcende, levita.
In today's episode, I am talking to Jackie Eul, the Fit.Green.Happy Program Director and Mountain Challenge Assistant Director. Born and raised in the great Chicago area, Jackie longed for a college where she could enjoy the outdoor activities she started appreciating in high school. That's how she ended up choosing Maryville College for her undergrad. Soon after her graduation, she had the opportunity to join Mountain Challenge, and shortly thereafter, Fit.Green.Happy was born as the nonprofit arm of the organization. Under the leadership of Jackie, Fit.Green.Happy provides high-quality and safe outdoor experiences throughout the Maryville College campus. Their social responsibility efforts are devoted to providing education, access, and resources to help people get fitter, greener, and happier, a lifestyle that can benefit them mentally and physically. In our delightful conversation, Jackie shares her story, how fulfilling the work of serving college students is, and why she believes we can change the world for the better, one person at a time. Without further delay, please welcome Jackie. Jackie, welcome to Good is What Makes You Feel Well.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you for coming. So, I would like to start by asking you, what in this moment of your life makes you feel well?
Specifically, I love that question because what in this moment is different than what I was thinking about last year or, what I'll probably be thinking about tomorrow. But what in this moment makes me feel well is probably being intentional about slowing down every day. I think that is, as I get closer myself to 30 and I have friends that are going through really big life changes, but also experiencing big losses for the first time. Yeah, just intentional about slowing down and even enjoying, a day off, walking my dog or, choosing what I want to eat in the morning, being very intentional and enjoying those small things.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that so much. I am still working on that because I know I need to rest.
Well, and I think we are similar in the ways where our passions for educating or even, doing the things that we love and encouraging people to join us, while we love doing it, we've kind of made it our work, right? So you have to kind of slow down and remind yourself, no, I'm doing this, for wellness. And as your schedule fills up with whatever that may look like, it's, having to slow down and say, okay, no, I'm doing this. It can't melt into work. And
yeah, and it's so interesting because I wrote a blog post about taking breaks.
Did you?
And resting, right? And how important it is for our brains and our performance when we do give time for our brains to rest.
Yeah.
And then yesterday particularly, I thought, oh my goodness, I so need this.
Yeah.
Because I do have a hard time.
Yeah.
But I'm working on it.
Yeah. Well, it's funny because I will catch myself, and this is what really made me start to think about being intentional about slowing down, is I hated the routine of running into someone, whether you're passing someone at work or, you get a text and you catch up with a friend that you maybe haven't spoken to in, a month or so. And it's the same, hi, how are you? Oh, good. Oh, it's busy. Oh, I'm busy too. And then the conversation ends and you keep on walking. And it's like, sure, we're all busy, right? I can make the list of all the things that I have to do, but what is it that I'm really feeling? And am I making myself more overwhelmed because I'm naming it? Because I'm saying, it's Monday. It's Monday and you gotta be busy on Mondays, or you gotta feel overwhelmed on Mondays, and everyone else seems chaotic, so I should feel that way too. But it's like, what is really going on? So I don't know. That seemed to help me, to get rid of those routine conversations. I don't want to have I'm busy. Okay, see you next week, and you'll still be busy. We'll still feel chaotic.
Yeah, because what can be more important than you connecting with your friends?
Yeah. Right? So instead of taking the time to complain a little bit more, maybe having, when I do have those conversations, saying, gosh, how's your family? How are how's your son and daughter?
Whatever you're working on.
What are you working on?
Yeah. But so that is today. And how that concept of feeling well evolved?
Well, like I said, it's different every day, right? With career changes or big personal events. And so specifically for me, I think the transition from moving from a place that was really close to family, alone, where I don't have any family here, I would thrive on busyness, right? To keep talking about that. And I realized that maybe that isn't because I liked it, but maybe it was a coping kind of mechanism to maybe make me forget about what I really need. And so I realized that when I made that move, I was just unloading my schedule. I was saying yes, which I think opened up a ton of opportunity, professionally for me. And I reap the benefits of that now, and I don't regret it, but
just reflecting back.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. How that's kind of manifested over a while.
Tell me the story. Where are you from and why you moved here and how you entered this wellness space?
Yeah. I am from the west suburbs of Chicago, and the high school that I went to really kind of started at that stage of my life. They had a pretty robust leadership and adventure program. And so adventure in the way of, indoor rock climbing, outdoor rock climbing. We would do camping trips on weekends. And so it's funny now when I went to college, Maryville College, a small liberal arts school, south of Knoxville, where I work now, the outdoors here means something so different to adventure and the outdoors in the west suburbs of Chicago. It looks different. The amount of traveling you have to do to get to places where there are a lot less people. It was a different experience, and one that might seem so simple to other people that don't live near big cities, right? So when you think a camping trip, you're like, oh, I can just go 20 minutes from my house. But the amount of planning that we had to do, I think it just opened a world where I wanted to have those experiences over and over again alongside people who hadn't tried those things before. So it was really fun because I was going through it myself, like learning how to use a camping stove for the first time, or creating a grocery list to pack, to eat with 5 of my friends. Yeah. And and it was the leadership aspect of that too. And when I say leadership aspect, it's, facilitating in groups, and, there were prompts that we had to do. It was a class, but being able to guide different groups and teach them, if one group wanted to focus on building teamwork or building communication, being able to structure, we learned how to structure kind of our activities to get to that end. So when it was time to look at colleges, I wanted to be close enough to home that if anything happened, it was a 9-hour drive, but also far enough where my parents couldn't, like, surprise, come knock on my door. So it was that happy medium. And I started looking at, and I wanted warmer weather too, outdoor programs in the South. Learning that the outdoors just mean different things to different people, and knowing that I wanted a different type of outdoors, a little bit more accessible. So it was a Google search, best outdoor programs in the South, and Maryville College came up.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And so that was kind of the start to my journey here, and it was right place, right time. I would like to think that I was the right person for the job, but gosh, and that's where I look back and say, I will never regret saying yes as much as I did. Yes, I'll take that new class that no one's ever tried before, or that a professor's trying to start for the first time. Sure, I'll speak at this conference and I'm scared and shaking before doing it. Yes, I'll, help you with this event that you're trying to put on a Sunday. And at the time, the college and the organization that I work for, Mountain Challenge, which is the adventure, the facilitation, the leadership, kind of connection that I was really drawn to, they were building a nonprofit. At the time, we didn't know it was a nonprofit. It was kind of, we called it a lifestyle at one point, but it was really just a compilation of things that we cared about. So fitness, outdoor health, and happiness, mental health. And so it became what we now call Fit.Green.Happy. And it just started with, we gotta have fitness programs, and we gotta educate people about the benefits of being outside and why we need to care for the outdoors, and what can we do to be happier people every day. I was at the college when we were creating this, and now we're, 8 years later, and it is a registered nonprofit, and we're doing the work that we do in Blount County. So that's a succinct.
That is so exciting.
Story.
That is an amazing story. Mm-hmm. So everything started when you were a college student then?
Mm-hmm. With the Fit.Green.Happy
And
program.
what was your major?
My major was outdoor studies and tourism.
Wow.
Yeah, so
I didn't know they had those.
So students can decide, there are tracks now, they can go down the road of recreation side of it, camp counselor, director, maybe adventure guide. You can learn how to, manage people when you take them out on a rafting, trip or paddling trip. You can get those skills, or you can go more sustainable tourism, which is really attractive for business. I mean, across the country, people thinking about sustainable ways to travel and ways that small, even bigger towns, but how to make traveling more sustainable for the people that live there and to be a more sustainable traveler. So those are the two routes.
That is so interesting.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a major.
It's a major. Yeah.
That is so awesome.
Mm-hmm.
And during your college years, all those opportunities started showing up, and you said yes to all of them, and then...
Yeah. Well, and it's interesting too, because it's such a general program, right?
Oh, yeah.
When you break down Fit.Green.Happy, there's the fitness side of it, and people study, exercise science, and they,
they do.
Right?
Okay.
And so there's so much, and I don't claim to be an expert by any means, but there's so much that goes into teaching people about physical fitness and physical wellness, right?
Oh, yeah.
And so we just and that's the beauty about being on a college campus tours. We are surrounded by those specific experts, the fitness experts, right? And so we are constantly getting new information and new research from them on how to educate and teach people about why moving our body is beneficial, right? So we have those people that are digging into that research in the same way that, we have professors on campus that are constantly learning about why the outdoors benefits us mentally and physically. we have a whole, environmental science department that, continues to, provide research on that. And then the same thing with our, behavioral sciences. And we partner with our counseling center to, talk about what, specifically for us college students, are need the most resources and when it comes to mental health and all of that. So we just like to think that we're the hub to kind of put it all together and to continue to collect and create programs and hopefully make all of that research and education a little bit more digestible for the common person or maybe the curious student that will come to one of our programs. Yeah.
So tell me about the programs then.
Yeah.
How are they and how you guys access the students?
Mm-hmm.
How do they come to you? How does it work?
I think we've learned that we have to be as open to as many opportunities as possible. So, yes to the class. I'll give a few examples. And it's not just students. All of the programs that we do are meant for staff and faculty. And my dream, and we're just dipping our toe in now and taking baby steps to really start to open it to the community. I would love to be a resource for wellness in the community when it comes to in-person programming. But we work with professors to embed it in their curriculum. So they can, come and do a Fit.Green.Happy program and you get extra credit on your test, 3 points extra credit, 5 points extra credit. Or they will invite members of our staff to do a talk or maybe help connect them to a yoga teacher, to do a yoga class. Or maybe in their class, they're talking about the benefits of the outdoors, right? It's just one sliver of their class. And so they ask us to do a forest bathing session or a walking meditation session, something like that, to kind of add the experiential piece in their lecture instructional time. So that's one thing. But then we also do just events like align with our principles and the things that we believe in. So one example is the human-animal bond and connection.
Uh-huh.
And so we're doing our first animal health fair in April. So it's things like that. Sometimes it's intentional. It's professors coming to us and saying, this is exactly what we want. And then other times we throw out a program and see if it fits. As long as it aligns and it wouldn't make sense if we, ever do something that'll disrupt someone's sleep, right? Because we believe that sleep is so important. Or, anytime we do a program with food, we want it to be, we want to think about the nutritional value of that food. Or maybe can we locally source some of that food? Things like that.
Mm-hmm.
As long as it aligns with the things that we attempt to educate about. And that's also the fun part about it, is we can go into, say someone asks, hey, can we do a yoga class? We know that there are benefits to doing that outside. So we'll then say, okay, yoga outside, even if it's a little rainy, we'll do it under the pavilion. Or, hey, can we, have a mental health 101 kind of session? Yeah, let's do it outside. And then we can kind of tie in like, hey, even if we just sat out here for a little bit and I didn't say anything to you, things are happening, in your brain and you're getting the benefits here. Yeah, I hope that answered your question.
Yeah. So it's kind of according to what they need,
mm-hmm.
and then you just make your
yeah.
way to get your message
mm-hmm.
through.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, that's awesome.
Absolutely.
So I wonder how you guys interact with the nutrition side of it, like in the dining hall.
So I think it's interesting, right? Because when you work in a college setting, and we're small, so I can't imagine what the red tape or hurdles would look like on, a campus that's serving 30,000 students. What I always have to remember is they're contracting with an outside business, right? So the company that we contract with, they're great. We've had the people in those leadership positions, they're always open to new ideas. I mean, the people that work there are chefs, and their passion, and what we always have to remember, like, yes, this is a cafeteria, yes, this is dining, but when they're creating those menus, they're coming at it with a place of a love for food, regardless.
Mm-hmm.
What they also think on a college campus is, what are students going to eat?
Yeah.
They do think about food waste too. It's because it's work for them. They want the least amount of food waste possible.
Oh, yeah.
So in the past, when we've come to them with ideas surrounding more nutritional options, their first thing is, are students going to eat it? And so I think that I don't want to say it's a difficult conversation to have, but it's a hard one to start to think about. And I think we can absolutely get better about labeling what's in certain things. We currently don't have, because the menu changes every day. Unless there's an allergy, then they can go back and find out. But a student can't come up and see, the basic nutritional value for each thing that they're getting. And that's a hard topic to talk to students about, right? In that time of their lives, especially young women, they're dealing with body image and maybe gaining weight a little bit. And so it's interesting.
It is interesting.
Yeah.
I know. It seems to me that it needs to come from both ends.
Yeah.
So we need to educate the students so they are more open to try new things and to change their eating habits. Mm-hmm. The same way we do with fitness and being outdoors, we need to approach them and teach and show the evidences and all the benefits that they will get from the change. And then work on the other end with the cafeteria on how to provide that. Eat better so they will feel better and then they will perform better. But I understand it's hard.
Well, I think too, you are a product of your environment. So if you have, like you said, it can come from both ends. If top down, the people that are able to make those decisions, if they believe in how important it is to locally source their food, maybe connect to local farms, at minimum, if I'm a student, I may not care about that yet, but it's impactful down the road, especially when they're not with us anymore. And it's time for them to make decisions on their own and start cooking on their own, to be able to, the only options you have are healthy options. You got to eat, right? You're signed up for the dining hall anyways. And so, you're product of your environment. And if you remember how good you felt, when you're 24, 25 and you're making, you're at the grocery store. I felt really good when I had this meal, the dining hall, and I was able to get to bed at a good time and my stomach wasn't hurting. And it's those little changes that they don't think that it's going to be impactful, but it really is.
Yeah. So you touched on a very good point, because sourcing locally doesn't impact them. So this is something that the college or whoever is providing the service for the cafeteria, they can do. Yeah. Either way, because they are not going to even know that where they're coming from. Yeah. So this is something that maybe the college can have a say. Yeah. Yeah. And that is a huge step.
Yeah. Well, and there's one farm, but what I've learned is the production is not enough to feed. So they'll do, if they get, say, blueberries when they're in season, they'll do one dessert from that. But I think it would be great if we labeled it.
Local?
Yeah. And that's what I understand is, they're open to partnerships, and there's a small farm, in Friendsville that they will receive produce from. And it's gotten to the point where Rocky Park is the name of the farm. They've said, we would love to be Maryville College's farm, but the production doesn't keep up with the demand. And so I don't think that diminishes it, but I think they're saying, okay, we got, say this much spinach. We need 3 times that. So they're using that spinach, but also they had to buy this much more from whoever they're buying from. So it's just, it's interesting.
It's a balance.
Yeah, it's balanced.
Yeah. But my understanding is as much as we move towards this direction, we'll improve the production, and then it's just a snowball because for the good.
I agree.
Yeah. So another thing that I believe they can do, and that doesn't impact the kids at all, is not to use processed food. Like, because I know in the schools they use everything processed and everything fast food. So that is something that I believe the college can lean towards, not have them, the third party, using those processed foods, and that will have like a huge impact on kids' health as well.
You know what I'm remembering, when I go into the dining hall and I see a lot less fried things, and I know there's a difference between frying versus, what's going on back there and if it's processed or not, but it seems a little bit more fresh when they theme their days with different countries. So we have a pretty robust international program at the college, and they like to feature at the dining hall where students come from. Say a student is here from, Taiwan, they will do Taiwanese food, and it makes them get a little bit more creative, and it always seems a little bit more fresh. And I'm just now realizing that connection from what I typically see them serve, the default, from what's there. That's really interesting. So it's possible.
Yeah. So I think there are ways to improve without touching the point of the kids eating it or not. Yeah. And then hopefully at one point we'll get to getting them to eat whatever is best. That is just something that I'm really passionate about, Yeah. Anyways.
Well, I'm curious what you think. We've attempted to do cooking programs, and I want to know what will get them in seats. I want to know, where is that middle ground between how do we get them excited about the time after college, I know you have you found a passion with cooking and knowing at least where your food comes from. I don't know how to inspire that that feeling in college students just yet.
Well, the only way, I think, is how we can make them feel. And that is why I have this whole idea of doing the cooking workshops with them. One, to teach them simple things that they can do, to teach them what they should be eating to feel well, and giving them the opportunity to try and see. Yeah. Because you have to experiment. You have to feel it in your body. Yep. And we have to give them the chance to do that. Yeah. Because most of those kids, probably their parents never cooked at home or cooked, pre-made stuff. Sure. So we all know that this is the culture. So if they have never tried, they won't know. So we need to teach them, to show them that's not that complicated, and make them feel that way. Yeah. Because that is what is going to hook them to stay. Yeah. Because even with my daughter, I cook from scratch, and I have always cooked at home. But, she's 17. She doesn't like mom's food. She wants to go out and eat with, her friends and stuff. But she's always complaining. She's always tired. She's always having stomach issues. And I told her, and I keep telling her, you need to give your body a chance to be well. Sure. Clean your diet. See how you feel. And then you decide which way you want to go. But if you don't give your body a chance, you will never know. So, and I think that is the approach we need to take with those kids. And that's why I believe so much in having those cooking classes and showing them. Because it's not only nutrition, but it is a big chunk of how they feel. Sure. Comes from the food they're eating. So I think we need to just work in all the dimensions to give them this opportunity of really feel the vitality that they can. And sometimes I keep wondering how much more performance we can get out of those athletes in schools and in high schools and colleges if we give them the right food. Some of them are so great, but eating badly the way they eat. So I keep wondering, my goodness. Yeah. So it's kind of unlocking that power because we have so many like really smart kids. So they can you be imagine? Even smarter. Another thing is they don't have a lot of resources to cook in the dorms.
No.
So this is another thing that maybe the college can provide. I was talking to one of the students that day. We did that workshop. And she said, well, I don't have a blender. But if I had a blender, I said, oh, yes, if you had a blender, you can do so much with a blender. So it's like something that is nothing for the college.
Yeah.
So we can find little things like that we can do to better support them, to better give them resources so they can do more. And that particular student, she was so excited because she actually likes to cook. So she said, give me the groceries and I'll cook for everybody. So if we find 5 more of those, we can make a revolution.
Well, I love that you said give your body a chance, because that seeps into so many different things, right? Like give your body a chance to get some adequate sleep. Give your body a chance to see what a 20-minute walk will do. Arguably, in the prime of your life, I mean, that young 20, but the few people that are interested in cooking, I always go back to the money that is surrounded with getting their own groceries. And I know that's a common misconception, right? Like whole foods, nutritionally dense foods cost more, so I'm going to reach for the processed thing. But I wonder if there are ways to make it as easy to, right? Because meal plans, you just swipe, right? It's already in your bank. But if there are ways to offer grocery drop-offs, or if there's something, with local grocery stores where they can, even food that's close to expiring, right? Close to expiring in quotation marks, right? I don't know.
I think we can do so much.
Right? Because the ways that we can, make it as easy as possible, right? Limit as many of the barriers, because, right, we can, again, it's about making the environment as, you start them as freshmen, they're doing these cooking workshops. And so I'm a freshman. I don't know what Maryville College is about. I have no idea. Maybe I've came to a perspective day and I met my counselor and I talked to financial aid, but that's the minimum, right? I've walked campus. I've maybe gone to the bookstore. I got a hat, but I don't know what the culture is like yet. So if I walk on campus and at my orientation, there are people, the leaders of, my college saying, this is what we value. We want you to be well students, well, healthy, thriving students. And this part is what we think is important. We want you to know the resources. We want you to know where, when you need to focus on financial aid, here's that. But also, this is important. And these are the things that we are going to do to make it as easy as possible. If I'm a freshman, I'm like, this is just what we do here.
Yeah.
It's not abnormal. And that's the other thing, is fighting the group mentality. Sure, it's cool. Like you said, your daughter, she's 17, right? Really close to that age. Sure, it's cool to go, you drive late and go to Sonic and do all of that. There's a place and time for that. Absolutely. But if I live in a place where multiple people are taking an hour a day to run to Kroger, grocery shop, or whatever it may be, I have this free time. We can watch Netflix or we can go walk in the college woods. If that is the norm, it's not going to look weird, right? There's that, you're fighting that thing too at that age. It's like, why is she always walking? Or, like she's always down the hall in the community kitchen. Like, she's always there. But if there are multiple people doing that, it becomes the norm.
Yeah. And
I love that.
That's why I said, if we find 5 people that like it, we can make them our stewards. Mm-hmm. And then start a community.
Yeah, it's like influencers.
Yeah.
They're in-person influencers, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah, so I love that idea.
Yeah.
But tell me how it was for you as a student.
Oh gosh, so different than how I live now. If I am completely honest, there was, the academic side where I would be in class and say, yeah, I know this is important. I know this is what we have to do, and, say the right things. And then I would go back with my friends and you're fighting the group mentality. So of course, I'm going to go and do the late night, runs for fast food and stuff like that. And I touched on it, right? It was pivotal. And I was only there for 2 years. I transferred in.
You transferred?
I transferred. I went in the west suburbs of Chicago. I did 2 years at community college. Okay. Yeah. So I transferred in. So I was only at Maryville for 2 years.
Okay. So all that happened in 2 years?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Like I said, right place, right time. I really was there and I said, okay, let's do this. But even though I'll never discredit the benefits of baby steps. So that's when I do programming now, and I'll get on myself. I'm like, only 4 students showed up. Like, and I've been marketing this whatever it may be, a sleep program, come learn how to sew and mend your own clothes, to keep things out of the landfill, whatever. There's been so many things that we've tried, and I'm like, only 3 students showed up. But when I think back to when I was a student, I didn't attend everything I wanted to, right? I looked at all of the flyers that were posted in the dorms, right? I read the daily email communication that we send out, right? And there were a ton of things, right? I was in my saying yes moment of my life. So there were a ton of things that I did. Even though the change wasn't immediate, doing all of those things and learning all of the wellness related things while I was a student, I absolutely know it had an impact, but it didn't change overnight. And I think it's funny that we're talking, had a long conversation about food. My diet changed drastically from because I was eating on my own, right? I'm not, with my parents. I think it kick-started a gluten intolerance. So I'm now completely gluten-free. It's now been like 3.5 years, but it's interesting that you just talking about food choices, because I think I absolutely overdid it. It made me sick. It did. It really did. I hope that answered your question.
Yeah, of course. And that is really interesting, because that is exactly what I told my daughter. I think you should try gluten-free and see what your body says. Yeah. Because it is big.
And you'll know within 48 hours.
Oh, yeah.
Right? I mean, anything.
If you clean your diet for 3 weeks, you will know. Yeah. And you will feel exactly the impact. Yeah. It is so fast. Yeah. The body is... It's incredible. It's incredible. Yeah. It is so resilient. Yeah. Anyway. So, when you tell me it happened with you, that gives me hope, because we are planting seeds. Mm-hmm. And I think this is so important, because at some point, this is gonna sprout. It doesn't matter if it's gonna be 1 year from now or 2 years or 5 years, because it is there. Yeah. So whenever they need, they can access that knowledge, that information, and decide to try. Because one thing that you don't have any clue on what to do and what to try, and just keep living your life, doing whatever. Sure. And the other thing is, when you have the information, you know how to be resourceful, and you just need to decide to do it or not. Mm-hmm. So it is 2 totally different paths, right? Absolutely. So that is why I really believe we need to work on educating those kids and giving them all the information we need, because that is what I do as a mom. Yeah. Yeah. Even, she is a rebel. like literally.
Yeah.
But it's okay because I just keep talking and I just keep doing and I insist because I'm planting that seed. So she knows, she has an example and she knows how she can feel. So, and that is what we need to do with all those kids. Keep talking, keep going.
Yeah.
If one person shows up, that is the one person that needs that message at that moment. And then we just need to keep going.
Well, I think about it because there are days where I look at Fit.Green.Happy and think, oh my gosh, taking on, and I'm sure you do this with your business too. It's like the weight of trying to make people well. You're like, it's daunting. It's exciting. You feel creative. You feel empowered, but there are many sick people, right? In this world that need, right, a little, whether it be just one drop, right? They just need a day of what it feels like to be energetic and well. And so I'll look at this program that we've created that's attempting to, teach fitness, right? Outdoor related things and mental health. And it's like, oh, what a big, big step to take. But the way that we've created it is not so much like a pyramid, right? It's not so much like fit first, then green, then happy. But it's more like a wheel or like a web. And so being able to offer different types of programming, you can access it, right? You brought up athletes. Say an injury happens on the court or on the field, and your fitness doesn't look like it used to. So here Jackie is trying to talk about the benefits of yoga or maybe playing pickleball on a Saturday afternoon, right? Doing something active with your time. But I'm injured, right? I can't move the way that I have right now. Or maybe, you're wheelchair bound, indefinitely. And the accessibility of choosing maybe a different part of the web to enter in, right? So maybe thinking about food or sleep. I keep bringing up sleep. Or trying the practice of journaling or meditating. If you, stack things in people's favor, just so they try the one thing to make them feel just an inch more well or than they were yesterday, they're more likely to try the next thing and the next thing. And so I always have to think about, yes, it's a big program and we're trying to tackle a lot of things, but even if 3 people show up to my fitness program, 3 different people might be interested in my sleep program or, and it's different people, like you said, that need different things at different times. And, maybe hopefully they'll look back when they're a year or 2 down the line and, I might try it. I remember, they said to try and cool the temperature down when I go to sleep. And so maybe I'll try that. And then they wake up feeling refreshed and it's like, okay, well, I feel really good. I don't want to ruin that. Maybe I'll choose an apple this morning instead of a Pop-Tart or, and it's this building.
It is building. Yeah. And I really do believe, like you said, baby steps. And that is how we make big changes. It always starts with small steps. And especially for them, it is one little thing at a time. But I do believe that is the way to go. It's interesting that you said about the athletes when they are injured, trying different things, because all those different things are going to help the body heal. Like meditating, sleeping well, or journaling, because that is just putting the nervous system in the right place for the body to just repair. And that is what we need to teach them. It's what they eat, of course, because if they are injured, they have an inflammation going. So if they eat better anti-inflammatory foods, that's going to help the body heal. If they don't eat any sugar, that's going to help the body heal. So that is the approach. And that is what I keep thinking about those student athletes, how much we can help them be better, even on those times of injury. Yeah. Because we can help them or teach them how to make the body heals quickly, doing all the things.
Yeah.
Other than physical therapy,
Other
because
than
they
physical
will
therapy.
do that
Yeah.
too.
Yeah.
But there's so many other things, right?
Well, and think about, too, when majority of people's athletic careers end at college. So if you have those wellness-based practices in line already, this is what I think about often, is the identity that is formed when you are an athlete. You know, you start at 4 years old nowadays, right? You got to get in the classes at 4 years old now.
So early. Oh
right?
My gosh.
And so my identity as a football player, as a tennis player, it is built, right? That is who I am. And so when that ends at 21, 22, you know, the mental health repercussions that happen, you know, when that identity is lost, when I'm not a tennis player anymore, right? I'm not a competitive tennis player, or I'm not, you know, trying to get to a championship with my team. If I am used to practicing meditation, if I'm used to breaking out my journal every morning, if I'm used to, and I've built those habits of this food makes me feel well every day, the loss, when that identity changes, right? I'm using the word loss, but when that identity changes and you need to figure out how you're going to move in the world, how much easier that will be after you graduate.
Exactly. That is so important, because that is the sense of self-love and self-care that we develop in them. Mm-hmm. That's going to carry them for life. Mm-hmm. I can talk about this all day.
Is your daughter an athlete?
She is.
Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
She's a soccer player.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So tell me more about Fit.Green.Happy.
Mm-hmm.
So you said it's a nonprofit.
Yeah. So it's the nonprofit arm of Mountain Challenge. So Mountain Challenge is its own LLC. We have a really robust partnership with the college because we've been connected in its existence, right? The first part of our mission is to serve students, staff, and faculty. But Mountain Challenge also, like I said, it's its own business. So it
funds Fit.Green.Happy.
Yes,
okay.
As of right now. Fit.Green.Happy, like I said, it's just starting to, you know, do some community programming. So I'm trying to be really strategic about, I want to be accessible. But I mean, we also need to keep ourselves alive. So I'm experimenting with what charging for different programs look like. And that's only in the last 1.5 years, 2 years. But we're a charter nonprofit, but the college is our fiduciary partner. Mm-hmm. So anytime we need 501c3 status, we rely that way. There's a lot of red tape associated with that, as someone can guess. And, you know, anyone that has experience with nonprofit, you know, it makes it a little harder at times, but the benefits of being on a college campus, I mean, we're in our own lab. We can make mistakes.
Oh, yeah.
And you know, good intention mistakes, but, you know, programming related. But I mean, there's just so much knowledge there and so many people that come to us and say, have you ever thought about doing something like this? And every time it's, you want to do it? You want to teach it? Absolutely. Let's do it. Let's get a date on the calendar. And so I don't think I'd want it any other way. But that is, logistically how that works. And I would love to figure out how to do more for people that don't associate, you know, with the college yet. I want it to be more of an open place. Yeah, to come and experience what we're doing.
So how many people work with you now?
We have, so on the Mountain Challenge side, there are 2 paid staff by the college, I guess you can say. We have the director of Mountain Challenge, and I'm the assistant director. And so my role is to manage the Fit.Green.Happy program. That's a part of that. And then we're mostly student staffed, which again is the most fun part. And again, I wouldn't change that. So we have about 18, 20 students, ever changing, right? Every 4 years they cycle out. So they keep us in check. We constantly have to, teach them, what is Fit.Green.Happy? What does the culture at Mountain Challenge look like?
And then Mountain Challenge sells the programs to corporate business?
Mountain Challenge's business, like I said, is more adventure-based. So we have a climbing tower and we also have a low ropes course. And so a business like, let's say, Pilot Flying J oil company will come to us and say, hey, we just hired 20 new managers in this East Tennessee area. We would love to get them, as a part of their onboarding.
A team building thing.
A team building thing, yeah. We would love for you to focus on communication skills and how to manage a team.
Okay.
So we will morph what we do to serve that in the same way. So that's, the corporate side of it. But then a, middle school basketball or maybe a high school soccer team will come to us and say, gosh, our girls team is just having trouble talking to each other on the field. They don't know how to leave their problems at the door and be a team, when they're there. So we need to focus on that. And so we'll then put the right staff in place and think of the right activities to help get them to that goal in the 3 hours that they
What
give
is basically similar to what you said the professors are doing in their classes, having that demand and then accessing that through you guys. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. So we've pretty much built the way that we approach groups with Fit.Green.Happy. We've just mirrored it in the way that we've run Mountain Challenge for the last 37 years now. Not making it this hard, fast, nope, I'm sorry, this is what we're going to do every time. It's, what do you want to see? What is your class lacking? Or what can we help enhance? Yeah. Interesting that would be for, community members too. So if a professor is doing a, water stream testing 101, in the Little River, they're taking their students or maybe that's just what they're passionate about or, currently researching. If Fit.Green.Happy, right, if we know we can be the connection to the community. So if, reach out to organizations that might also be interested in taking a day, 3 hours or whatever to go meet at this place and work alongside a professor at Maryville College to learn about soil testing and how healthy is the Little River, right in your backyard.
So I love the idea of like community and working together, and building this, strong sense of wellness.
And you're doing it.
And changing the culture.
Yeah. It's with the counseling center and everything. I mean, you're a great example of what that can look like and how both of us can benefit from that. Absolutely.
Yeah, we can do so much together.
Yeah.
And improve so much their lives. Yeah, I'm excited. I don't know if I told you that, but I'm writing a book.
No!
Yeah.
Really?
So the book's title is Living Your Best Life in College.
Oh my gosh. Sorry.
So my idea is to have, everything that we've talked about in a place so they can have all the resources in one book. Yeah. So, and what happened is, when my son went to college, he got depressed. So this is how everything started. So I decided to pick this as a niche because of him, because I couldn't help him stay well and continue. So he had to withdraw. But now, next year, my daughter is going to college. And I said, okay, that is my chance to do it different. So I'm writing everything about every dimension of wellness and touching everything that we talked about here, about self-love and self-care and how we do that and how to give the body the chances to experience all that. And the book's going to be my sending off gift.
Oh,
so
man.
So she can take everything.
How?
If she's going to use it or not, I don't know. But,
it's there.
I'm planting my seed.
It's there.
Again, it's there for there if she needs. And then my hope is to help a lot of other kids that are probably going through the same situation that my son, and helping those parents to support them as well. So, and this is a big, dream come true because I think has the potential to help so many people. Yeah.
Wow. There's a whole mental health side that I feel like we could, spend another 2 hours talking about, but, wow.
Yeah. So the whole point is to show them that they are actually the ones responsible and capable of healing the mental health crisis. Because we got at this point due to different million things, but we know the way to reverse it. So we can find remission using the right tools. And the idea is to give them the tools. So, yeah. So we can prevent and we can reverse.
Yeah.
So working on the both ends is what I'm trying to do. And my big dream is to have this as a health program in the schools so they can teach the kids growing up how to do it well.
Yeah.
And then with the college students, teaching them to reverse if they are not well now, how they can get better.
I've said it a few times. I mean, that is so exciting. Stories like your son remind me that, you know, sometimes I think like, you know, it feels silly to be the person on campus that is always, you know, sometimes our programs are just, they're cushy in nature, you know, and when they have their long list of things that they have to do, it reminds me that everything, so going back to what we talked about in the very beginning, their life is built around their to-do list and a phone, right? Any screen. And I know that's extreme, but it's the reality of what our students experience, especially with education. I mean, like the experiential times in education when you read a book and then discuss in person are getting less and less, right? So while education attempts to be innovative and surround itself with new ways to use technology and move away from face-to-face learning, it reminds me how important what we're doing is, right? Even if students complain, you know, as they're walking up to, you know, they got their new shoes on and they're in jeans that they don't really want to get dirty, but I'm kind of making them sit on a dirty picnic bench and listen to me talk for a little bit. Sometimes in the woods where they have lower cell phone service, forcing at times, you know, whether it be credit for a class or however we get them there, into an environment to remind them like, hey, still, you know, to still be able to be in person and to, you know, experience connections with people and to, you know, talk to them about whatever topic you just learned, and you don't have that phone to, you know, continue to check whether it, you know, if it's not working or we've made it explicit to not pick up. If we're making them do something active or, you know, go on a hike, it is so important.
It is hard, yeah. I think this is a very good point. Technology has a big contribution to the mental health state of our kids today. I think they know.
Yeah, absolutely.
But they are resisting to acknowledge. Yeah. And what you said is just another big part of what I'm doing is to connecting them back to nature. I love the Fit.Green.Happy because I think the connection in general, because we are talking about connecting with nature, connecting with community and each other, of course, right? And then connecting mind, body, and soul.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because what technology brings, and especially talking about their phones and having that constant, they are not sitting with themselves. They are never connecting with themselves because they are always connecting with something else that's going on their phones. And this is so important to keep us sane, and especially in that age that they are just discovering who they are. So they have to sit with themselves. They have to look inwards to find out what they like, what their values are, because they're building that person right there at that point.
It's like you said, giving your body a chance. It's in the same vein. Give your mind a chance. Give your soul a chance to see what it likes. Yeah, to flourish. Yeah, to thrive, to flourish. Absolutely.
Yeah. So I do love Fit.Green.Happy so much. And we just need to keep
baby
moving.
steps. Baby steps. Yeah.
Always baby steps.
Yeah.
But like when we're doing the right thing and we know we're doing the right thing, then we just have that energy that keeps us going. And that is wonderful because that is what we need.
Yeah.
We need just to keep going.
I agree.
Yeah. Yeah, perfect. I have to ask you this because you have this glowing skin. You told me you cut gluten. Anything else that you do?
Oh my gosh. That, I went on a skincare journey too.
Oh.
Mostly because I got nervous, right? And this is a specific time in my life. There are so many people around me my age that are pursuing fillers and Botox, and
I know.
And so I look around and I'm like, my friends are beautiful and they're young and we're still in our late 20s, and I'm like, is this what it's coming to? Right? It's one of those aesthetic things that it's like, in the end, I know it doesn't matter, but I was looking around and I had a group of friends that were telling me about their Botox appointments, and I'm like, I don't know if I want to do that. I don't think I want to go down that road.
I'm telling you, you don't need it. No.
Well, I appreciate it.
Not.
I appreciate it, but it was, I tried, right? I mean, there are a few things that I guess, products that I tried and that I stick with and that are my kind of holy grail, but that was its own year journey too, because I was like, is this what we're all doing now? And it was scary to me. I didn't know that was,
I think that is so crazy. Because, they are called toxins.
Yeah.
So you're talking about eating good food, buying organic, local, to get most from our food. And then we're putting toxins on our bodies? Isn't that crazy?
Yeah. But I think I didn't know how many people were doing it until recently.
It is, yeah.
I appreciate it. Oh, I appreciate it. I'm probably blushing a little bit, but
so
thank
low,
you.
yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You don't
Thank
need
you.
it. Absolutely not.
Oh.
So, just for us to wrap up,
sure.
Would you like to tell people about Fit.Green.Happy, how they can join, how they can support?
So,
how to contact you?
Yeah. We have Fit.Green.Happy.com. That is where we attempt to post our current and new student research. I would also look on mountainchallenge.com. We try to keep everything there if that's something anyone is interested in. But a new project that we are extremely excited about, we're working with a PhD student at UT. She is helping us create a Fit.Green.Happy training module.
Wow.
So hopefully that will be a way to reach people outside of our local area. Because if you follow on social media, Instagram, Facebook, once we start to do more community programming, is irrelevant if you don't live around here, right? So a way that we can, help anyone that, lives a little farther, you can be Fit.Green.Happy certified. So by the time we perfect this module, and we hope to do our first training session in about a month to kind of work out the kinks and see what it looks like. Yeah, that'll just be exciting. Yeah, but we'll post that on our website and kind of, we've talked about baby steps this whole time. And so it'll be a slow process because we want to do it right. But that is the next thing that we are excited about. But
it's a kind of train the trainers.
Train the trainer. That's exactly what we're calling it. Yeah. So, the things that we, think about and we want to get our message across when we talk about fitness, about the green part and about the happy part. Activities suggested, we'll have lots of information, added readings, suggested activities. And so it'll kind of be easy parts to digest. We'll break it down like that.
I love it.
Yeah. So that's our next move. Thank you for asking.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Excellent. So, Fit.Green.Happy.com.
Fit.Green.Happy.com.
All together.
Mm-hmm.
No dots.
Yep.
And mountainchallenge.com.
mtnchallenge.com.
Okay.
Yeah.
Are you in Instagram as well?
We are.
Okay.
Yeah. Fit.Green.Happy on Instagram, all one word, and Mountain Challenge. And it's run by our students, so they keep us cool. It's MTM Challenge 180. If you are a business that we can come to and you're local in East Tennessee and you are looking for fitness classes for your employees or some, additional education for your employees, that is also a way that we can help in that way too if you're close.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Lovely.
Thank you.
Oh.
Thank you.
Oh my goodness. It was so good.
Thank you.
It was a pleasure. Keep doing what you're doing because I believe with all my heart that we are both in the right path.
Agreed. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you guys so much for listening. It means a lot to me that you chose to be here. To help Mama Terra's mission of making the world a disease-free place for generations to come, you can follow the show, write a review, or talk to your friends about it. You can also subscribe to my newsletter. Every week, I craft good health and wellness tips, recipes, and book recommendations with love and care, just for you. My intention is to give you information and resources to help you make good choices and feel well. Find the link to subscribe in the show notes. Follow me on Instagram and Facebook. Thank you again for being here. We have lots of new episodes coming up, so stay tuned. And remember, good is what makes you feel well.
Transcende, levita, toma banho de cachoeira, abraça uma pessoa